Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
The evidence is gone, but the nightmare continues. Welcome to Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi, featuring former prosecutor and defense attorney Eric Faddis.
Let's talk about the next steps for Richard Allen in the Delphi murder case. Obviously, he's been found guilty, and we've kind of been joking the whole time after all of the issues with this trial. He has a get a new trial free card. Not quite the same as a get out of jail free card. What's the steps from here for Richard to try and plead his case to wherever it goes?
So in most states, first he has to request, make a motion for a new trial, citing errors in the trial, but that motion is made to Judge Gull. And so I think we all know that's a foregone conclusion how she's going to rule on that. Then you go to the appellate level, and he's got some real potential outs here. One of the biggest, I think, is that in most, in every state that I'm aware of, there's case law that says the judge cannot exclude the only defense that the defense is running, if the judge doesn't like it. And this Odinism thing was really kind of central to the defense that Richard Allen wanted to run. It was excluded. That in and of itself could provide grounds to overturn the conviction and grant a new trial.
Would the only options for this be a new trial? Could any court look at this whole thing and go, this was a kangaroo court and your conviction is overturned?
It's at least possible, but that's very rare. Usually, the court has to find what's called structural error in order to just completely throw out the case, to say that, hey, this thing was so fundamentally unfair that Richard Allen just had no real shot at winning. Those rulings are few and far between.
Does this case meet, though, that bar, in your opinion?
Structural error is tough because oftentimes we're looking at extreme examples of like the lead detective and the judge colluding, or the lead prosecutor having a romantic relationship with a central witness that could color the testimony. There are certainly some alleged serious errors in this case. Does it rise to structural error? I think a court would be hard pressed to make that finding.
So, okay, it goes, Gull is not going to say, yes, of course, we're going to grant this appeal because I screwed up. Everything up. I'm finally, it was me. It's not you. It's me. Let's do this all over. So it goes to the appeals court. How long of a process are we talking about here? How long does this take?
Oh gosh, the entire appellate proceedings can be years and years. We'll get to the appellate level and we'll see what they do. But even if the appellate level says, hey, there were these errors, we're going to grant you a new trial, the prosecution could appeal that appellate decision. They could go to the higher court, which I believe is termed the Supreme Court, out there in Delphi. And then, the prosecution could say, no, there weren't any errors. Keep this guy in jail while we continue sorting this out. We could be looking at months, but more likely years before we receive any kind of final appellate opinion on the case.
Obviously, the way that they have fought tooth and nail, it seems, to put Richard Allen away for whatever their reasons are. And that's assuming if he's innocent. It goes deep. I mean, very deep to have kind of railroaded him in the way that they did. They have a very vested interest in not letting this man out financially because he could very easily sue the hell out of the town and bankrupt it. And they probably don't want that. I've seen other cases. I brought this one up. I pissed off half of Northeast Wisconsin the other day when I brought up the Stephen Avery case in Northeast Wisconsin. Sure. It was on Green Bay radio, and I made
feelings about that case.
I made this analogy. I'm like, just similarly to how, assuming, Manitowoc, they had to pay out several million to him, but then they found him guilty or convicted him of this other murder, and then that all kind of went away. Kind of a similar type setup, if you read the tea leaves, it seems. They have no interest in this. If the court does decide, eventually, after going back and forth with appellate, decide for a new trial, does it go back to Gull? Does it go somewhere else? I mean, does the appellate court have any dictation into who's going to try this thing and where?
Good question. Not necessarily. Like the appellate court doesn't get to say you get a new trial and we want this other judge to do it. That they don't have that. Their power does not extend that far. And so, if he got granted a new trial, there would certainly be an argument that Judge Gull should not retry it, especially if she was the basis for the error. If such an error is found, so it would go back to the trial level. But yeah, I mean, they certainly have a vested interest, the government, in not allowing that to happen financially. And also the other thing, like there are some correctional officers who are allegedly wearing patches that were symbolic of Odinism or something. Who knows what's going on in this little community and how far some of those groups could extend. We just don't know.
Yeah. So if it does, and we're just kind of playing scenarios here, if it does eventually go back, it could end up there again. And could you have a judge excluding the same things all over again? I mean, or would the appellate say, you can't exclude this in round 2?
Yeah, typically the appellate court would say, hey, Judge Gull improperly excluded the Odinism defense, let's just say, for example.
Yeah.
Therefore, if there's a new trial, you cannot exclude that. And so we'll see kind of what errors that the appellate court may or may not find and how that could shape a new trial and really give a fuller picture to this jury if such errors are found, if a new trial is granted.
Welcome to the podcast. If you'd like to listen to an ad-free version of this episode and all of our episodes, then search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. That's our premium channel where all of our ad-free and advanced episodes live, all in one place. True Crime Today Premium Plus. Search it on Apple Podcasts and press subscribe. Even try it for 3 days free.
You're in the thick of a true crime saga, every detail sinking in, and then, wham, a commercial about something you couldn't care less about. It's like being served a microwaved dinner at a 5-star restaurant. But it doesn't have to be this way. Go for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. With True Crime Today Premium Plus, you get uninterrupted, ad-free episodes, extended interviews that dig even deeper into the muck, and early access so you can brag to your friends. It's like ordering the secret menu at a crime buffet. So, search for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, and savor every twisted detail without interruption.